Good evening and welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. This is the Dungeon Dudes weekly Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live stream campaign, and my name is Monty Martin, running our campaign this evening as the Dungeon Master.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, playing Wilhelm Wolfsbane, the human swashbuckler rogue. And we're joined today by our good friends...
Jill Donitis, playing Rudy Whitaker, the shifter Eldritch Knight.
And Joel Gorman playing Wrath, the Aasimar Warlock.
Thank you for joining us once again. If you are just tuning in for the very first time, welcome. We are the Dungeon Dudes, and Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel, where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters. We also put out some extra videos every other Tuesday as well, so check that all out at youtube.com/dungeondudes.
And you can also join us on Tuesday nights when we record the campaign live on Twitch. You can check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube. And if you'd prefer to listen to our show, Dungeons of Drakkenheim, the first season, and Up to Date with Shadows of Drakkenheim, the second season, are all now available as an audio-only podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. So find it for your listening pleasure there.
So also this evening, our show has been sponsored by our very good friends at Easy Roller Dice. We've been rolling tons of their dice for so long. We got their dice trays and everything. They're really good friends of ours, and they gave us a quick shout out because if you head into the links below, you will find a sign-up sheet for their newsletter, and you can sign up for their newsletter to win a set of their awesome stone dice and one of their dice trays and a whole bunch of other prizes. It's totally free to enter. You just have to sign up for their newsletter and share it on your socials and whatnot. You can get an entry to win all that. So that's just a awesome thank you from our good friends at Easy Roller Dice for sponsoring this episode and also keeping all of our dice rolling real well. So thank you. Check them out. You can also check them out at easyrollerdice.com. With that, let us return to the shadows.
Drakkenheim is no more. For 15 years, we foolishly believed the madness and mayhem of that crumbling city was confined to the ruins. We were wrong. Insidious horrors have crept out of the shadow of Drakkenheim into a world unprepared for such nightmares. Tales of strange magic, swirling haze, and unspeakable terrors echo through the villages and towns surrounding that accursed place. Now, the Dusk Wardens, a new band of heroes, are tasked with driving out the seeping tendrils of the spreading darkness before it takes root.
Welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. We left our heroes in the midst of battle. And in the midst, let us zoom in once again on the scene before us. It is late at night, far past midnight, in the port city of Dransmond. Following rumors of rattlings and fishfolk living in the sewers of the city of Dransmond, our heroes have followed the trail, and this is its bloody end. Coming across both villages and nests of rattlings and fishfolk alike, our heroes have battled and chased one of the rattling leaders, a eldritch warlock of the rat god known as Scribbles, the daughter of Scritches. Having pursued Scribbles as far as they possibly can through tracking through the sewers and through the wise kind of persuasion of another ratling known as Sweet Tooth, our heroes have found battle against Scritches, against Scribbles. Wow, Scribbles, Scritches, Sweet Tooth. I gotta stop using the rattlings with S names. have found Scribbles trying to escape Drensmond by stealing a boat having zombified its owners. So at night, with just the stars and the evening and the kind of the fog rolling in from the night on the docks of Drensmond, the lower docks that are more of a shanty town than anything else, out on these ramshackle docks as Scribbles is paddling off on a boat that Wrath has battered with Eldritch Blast after Eldritch Blast. The boat that the Ratling and her zombified minions are trying to paddle away on is taking in water. But in the midst of that, she has conjured up a stinking cloud on the edge of the docks to cover her escape, as Rudy, meanwhile, tries to pick up Wilhelm and Wrath, who are swimming in the waters, scoop them in, and get them in the boat to complete the pursuit. Whew! What a scene. We've also had a lot of wounded people. So if we go right onto our battle cam here, we got quite a situation. So let's summarize. So right up over here, just for reference, this boat that is on the map is not there anymore. It's now this boat over here that Scribbles is inside, okay? And she's driving that off as they've opened up the sails, but they've been damaged by the Eldritch Blast, and now, in fact, the zombies that she's got have taken out oars and are paddling the boat away, even as it takes in water. Two of them are paddling, as the other is taking a bucket to try to siphon out what water it can. Meanwhile, we got Wrath treading water right over here with a big old... How many hit points?
6.
I hope you got
solid 6.
I hope you got some healing potions. We got Wilhelm over here with 20 hit points left. And we got Rudy over here. Again, I got another boat out for you, Rudy. Oop. Another boat out over here for you to drive along. I think that'll work, yeah?
I get on top of it.
Yeah, I'll just send it to the back. That should get you there, right? And Rudy's down out over here. So you've secured the boat. There's the oars that you can paddle. So basically, this boat doesn't have any sails, so you can drive it, and there's no water flow here either, right? So you're going to need to actually take out oars and paddle it as an action to get it going, okay?
We're doing it. We're doing this,
Alrighty.
guys!
Okay. So we interrupted the initiative order last time. But if I recall correctly, we got all the way through our last round. So for our initiative, we got Wilhelm acting off the top of the round, then Scribbles, then Rudy and Wrath, and then we got the zombies last. So that is the situation that we are looking at right now. That all sound good? Any questions before we dive back in? It's always a little bit of a situation when you're diving right back in the halfway through, right?
I'm excited. I'm ready.
I think I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. We know what we got to do.
I have to get back into being horribly, horribly wounded and pretending that I'm dying. There, I got it.
Yep. That sounds good enough.
That sounds correct. Yeah, that works. Okay, so at the top of the round, Wilhelm, you're paddling water, treading water in the midst of the Drensmond harbor. You can just see Scribbles paddling out on the boat, and she is taking cover in the boat itself. So with you in the water and her on the boat, you don't quite have a clear shot to anyone in the boat right now because the actual bow of the ship gives them a little bit of the hull of the ship gives them cover from that position. But do what you will. What is it going to be?
Okay. My swim speed, is my swim speed half of my movement if I
Correct.
don't? Yeah. So let me ask a question, I suppose, to see what's possible here. I have a rope and I have a crossbow. Is it possible for me to shoot a roped crossbow bolt at her boat, or is that going to take too much action, or would I be able to do that?
Yes. I will say it is one action to jury rig that, and then another action to fire it.
Okay.
Right? Because your crossbow is a hand crossbow, right?
Yeah.
So it's not really designed to carry anything more than its own ammunition. So you can jury rig that up and get the rope in place and fire it with the crossbow bolt. But it'll take an action to prepare it so that your bolt actually carries the rope.
Okay.
Right? If you want to rush it, if you want to rush it, there's a chance there's a chance the bolt won't hold.
I'm not going to rush it. Wilhelm doesn't rush things, except into the face of danger. So Wilhelm swims towards Wrath, seeing Wrath kind of floating there, looking even more wounded than him. And he's going to pull out his crossbow, and he's kind of treading water while jerry-rigging a sort of a harpoon, so to say, so that he can try to latch onto the boat.
So you're treading water, trying to jury-rig a harpoon while swimming over to Wrath.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
So I'm on your back. If you then that way.
Yeah, I'm on my back, kicking my legs and like tying.
Is never rush things that take time to finish one of Wilhelm's rules?
No, that's just a way of life, you know?
Okay.
That's a core principle.
Okay, wait, hold on.
It goes beyond the rules.
Rule number 45. Never rush things.
Never rush the important things.
Never rush.
Or it's your rule.
Never rush the important things.
Alrighty. Anything else, Wilhelm?
No, that is it.
Alrighty. With that, we come to Scribbles. Seeing the two of you swimming swimming up around, you hear the rattling cry out, "Paddle, paddle, faster, faster, faster! Go, 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 go! Must get away!" But and then she pokes her head up over the boat and says, "Or kill. And she's gonna fire some Eldritch Blast at you guys.
No.
Do we get any cover from the water?
You are literally fish in a barrel.
I mean, it's a very big barrel. Okay, fine.
She's gonna fire 2 shots at Wrath. Getting a 10 and a 15 to hit.
15 hits.
For a grand total of 10 points of damage.
It collides with my chest as the last breath escapes me. I am incapacitated.
Alrighty. She takes 2 shots at Wilhelm, getting a 10 and a 19 to hit.
The 19 hits.
Alrighty. And that one is going to be 15 points of force damage.
Ooh.
I'm going to half that. Yeah.
Alrighty. Rudy, it is your turn.
Okay. How far can I get in this boat?
You can paddle it with your action and movement. You can move it 60 feet.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Okay, I can get to you, Wilhelm. So I guess, Monty, you have to move the boat.
All right.
So Rudy just takes out the oars and she starts just Viking paddling, like both sides, kind of standing halfway up in the boat so she can get lots of momentum. And she's just like, you see this boat coming at you.
Alrighty.
Like, Wilhelm, grab on! Grab on!
I reach out an arm, that's all. Help!
All right, Wrath, give me a death save and throw.
Okay, I can't even begin to tell you how important this is.
Yeah!
Yes! What? You've done this before.
So the force bolt actually I start drowning before it hits me. And the force bolt's what wakes me up.
I kind of imagine that it's like that moment of like where you get hit and like you're under the water and you're unconscious under the water, and it's almost like that that kind of like sensory deprivation sort of experience, and then you try to breathe for a moment, you take in water, and like you choke on the water and realize that you're underwater dying, and you dive for the surface and like
And Bruce, in his infinite like wisdom, he's actually licking my face, trying to wake me up, like from the other plane of existence.
You imagine like the cat.
No, stop it! Stop it! No, stop it!
Yeah, and
like a burst of like water and.
Oh man, what a way to start! Yeah, so you got your turn, bud. You're at 1 hit point.
I also put out my hand and I'm going to chug a greater healing potion. Oh, I've been to the other side too many times.
Alrighty. Did you want to move closer to the boat?
Yeah, I'm going to try to like quasi get in front of it. Actually, yeah, like I'm going to use my action to drink the potion and then get like kind of as close to the boat as I can.
Cool. Wow, man, you got charmed luck on those death saves.
I just believed. I believed, and
the heart of the dice.
I just want to tell you that these are Pluto's dice, and I've never, I've never strayed from Pluto's dice, and they've always the ones I bought for Wrath, garbage. Just they're paperweights.
Wow, that's something else. Meanwhile, Scribbles' zombies start paddling. So this boat is much bigger. So they're going to take it over this way. Because they can only take it... because it's a much larger boat, they're going to take it 40 feet over this way. So I will move them as they continue to paddle away. Cool. All right. With that, we go to Wilhelm.
Wilhelm is going to clamber into the boat with Rudy.
Okay.
And I'm literally going to lay down in the boat so that I have cover because I am out of health potions.
Okay.
And my rope is only 50 feet long, right? Yeah,
correct.
So I wouldn't. And so I'm going to clamber into the boat and yell at Rudy to get us closer. And can I use my action to help Wrath into the boat?
Yes, you can.
All right. So I grab Wrath's arm as I clamber into the boat and I pull him up with me. And I lay down. I am prone in this boat in an attempt to get as much cover as humanly possible. I'm literally laying against the side so that I cannot see. And I'm just there like bleeding out, yelling at Rudy to go faster. And that's going to be my turn.
Do I have to get my ship combat rules out at this stage?
I was looking to see if I'm like proficient in any sort of vehicles.
In any sort of vehicles? Yeah.
No, that was not on Rath's radar when he was studying at the academy.
I'm proficient in dragon chess if anybody would like to have a game.
I'm land vehicles, not water vehicles.
Yeah, so it's this is basically a rowboat. Okay, Rudy. So it has an armor class of 11 and 50 hit points.
Now.
Right? And the and so whereas the other boat is effectively, I'm going to say it's a keel boat, right? So Wrath has done a lot of damage to it, but it's Scribble's turn, and she's gonna go for your boat with her Eldritch Blast. So she's gonna fire all the beams of her Eldritch Blast at your boat. So it's got AC 11. Well, that's not good.
That's what I like to hear.
I rolled a 2 and a 1 and a 12 and a 15. So I get 2 hits and 2 misses.
It's that vehicle proficiency from Rudy.
Yeah.
Just dodging
but
with
she-
the oars.
This is like a land vehicle, right?
So she fires her Eldritch Blast at your boat, doing 21 points of force damage to it in total.
Ugh.
How much
think it's
hit points
50?
does it have? 50? Okay.
50. So
Yeah,
we're at
the
29.
hull
Let's
has
do a
50
counter.
hit points. Yeah.
29, baby. We're good.
Just get us close. Just get us within. Yeah.
Okay. Rudy, it is your turn.
Right. I turn the boat a little bit and I just start 60 feet. Get us over there.
All
You're
right.
so strong.
And I say, Wrath, you also lay down. She needs to take shots. I can't have you dying on us again.
I've been to the other side. It is beautiful. It is glorious.
Oh man. It's
And her
Fear
boat is
walking.
sinking, right?
her boat has taken 40 points of damage. Right? So it is effectively when boats get bloodied, they're taking on water. Right?
Yeah.
So so unless something is done to it, it will sink, but it hasn't been totaled yet.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gets us partway there. Is there anything else you want to do, Rudy?
I think that's my action and my movement, right?
Correct.
I don't think I can do anything with my bonus action, so no.
Alrighty. Wrath, it is your turn.
Standing up, ignoring Rudy's Rudy's advice. Can I see Scribbles, or is she hiding?
She is like you guys, she's hiding. So I'm gonna give her +5. Basically, when you hide in these boats, it's +5 to your AC.
What about her lackeys? These undead.
Her zombies? No, they are paddling. They're fully exposed.
I want to shoot the one on the right that's paddling.
Alrighty.
And I crit. This one's on fire. This dice is on fire.
Put that one away, you cheater.
You know what? I'm going to switch to the silver. I want to make this fair. I'm going to make this fair. Okay, we're 17. Respectable.
All right. That does not destroy it, though.
And I'll take my second shot at it
Okay.
using old silver. I get a 27 to hit for 15 damage. Oh, God.
Undead Fortitude. Oh. No, I get a 9 on my Undead Fortitude. It's blown apart and Scribbles
So I
streaks.
just- And then I hit the deck.
Alrighty. These zombies.
I will take out its arms, the boat's arms.
So one of the zombies is just paddling. So because of that, the boat paddles. What I'm going to do here is, because we're in the water and we don't have a lot of separation. So without someone paddling on both sides of her boat, it kind of goes in a circle, right? So it's going to travel half the distance away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move your boat and you guys a little bit further back like that to represent that, right?
Perfect.
But it doesn't move as far forward. The other zombie goes to the other side when Scribbles commands it to do so, and it takes up the paddle, but now there's nothing to stop it from taking on water. Top of the round with Wilhelm.
So my goal here is I want to shoot the bolt.
Wait, one last thing.
Oh,
Sweet Tooth dives overboard and starts swimming under the water. And she says, bye, bye, bye. I not stay. Good luck.
damn.
Abandoned ship.
It's smart.
My goal is to shoot the crossbow bolt that has the rope attached to it into the side of the boat, and then hold the rope so that if they move, we move with them.
Alrighty.
And as Rudy's rowing, I'm gonna like pull along with it so that we're just getting closer to them and they can't get further from us.
All right.
So now here's a question. My crossbow is at disadvantage if it's beyond 30 feet, but I'm shooting at a large boat. What's your
The
opinion on
boat
that?
has an AC of 12. Good luck.
Okay. That's going to be 11.
So this is what happens. You hit the boat. The rope doesn't stay in.
Damn it.
Yeah. That's why you had to roll to hit, cuz like what you're trying to do with the rope is awesome, but it's got to stay in. If the bolt and the rope don't hold, it doesn't do it. So in this case, basically, you fire the shot, it hits the bolt, you go to pull it, and the bolt snaps and the rope just recoils right back.
Well, it was a good idea. I stand up and I point my crossbow at the zombie that has replaced the one on the other side. This guy here.
Okay.
And I'm going to take a shot at that zombie.
Nice.
And that's going to be an 18 to hit.
It's a hit.
For 6 damage. And then I drop again.
Alrighty. Scribbles is going to go for your boat with all of her shots.
Oh.
She pops up, fires her shots. Oh, man. So I get a 12, a 16, and a 24. So I get 3 hits in this time.
That's not good.
No, she's gonna sink it.
For a total of 33 points of damage.
That's 4 more than we had left. So does like the front half just fall off?
Yeah, the front of the boat just blows open, and the whole thing lurches forward with just this splash.
All right.
Wilhelm. I'm Wilhelm. Wrath, stop, blow up their boat.
Our boat.
Rudy, it is your turn.
If I dash in the water, how far can I go? My full?
It's moving twice, so you can move your basically 30 feet.
I think it was. Yeah, because it's half in the water, right?
Yeah.
30. All right, so I'm like, all right, boys, I'm going for it, and I just start swimming towards. So, yes, yep, that's what I can do. I'm still going for it.
Alrighty. Wrath, it's your turn.
I'm listening to the wise Wilhelm. I'm gonna try to take some shots from the water at this boat.
Alrighty.
What's it look like? Is it just regular?
Yeah.
Can I tread water and shoot Eldritch Blasts?
Yeah. Her boat just has more hit points than yours.
We need to stop that sorcerer rat. So for the boat, 19.
It's a hit.
For 13 damage. And second shot, a 16 for another 10 damage.
So sorry, what was the damage totals again?
It in total 23.
Okay. In addition, as a point of reference, you're targeting the hull. You can target the sails as well, but in this case, because they're not using the sails for propulsion, it wouldn't affect the whole thing, right?
Yeah, so I guess I imagine at this point I'm shooting like the back of it.
Trying to blow more holes in.
Yeah.
And
then I'm also going to move my 15 feet to try to keep up with Rudy.
Alrighty. The zombies continue to paddle. With both of them in operation, they're able to make the boat move its full 40-foot speed. So, so again, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move you all back because I'm basically at the edge of the board.
Bye.
For myself. Yeah. I should have thought of this and prepared an open water. I didn't get an open water map, but I should have thought that, oh yeah, we're gonna go off the edge. So okay, that's fine though. We'll work it out. So with that, the zombies continue paddling and the boat goes forward. Top of the round with Wilhelm.
I move my 15 feet, and I'm going to fire at the zombie on the right, the one that I hit previously for 6 hit points. Get a 19 for 9 more points of damage.
Oof. Oof.
Oh.
And another 19 for 8 more points of damage.
Undead fortitude. Yeah.
No. And then, can I submerge myself? Am I harder to hit if I go underwater?
Yes. If you are under the water surface, attacks against you from outside the water will have disadvantage.
So I fire my 2 shots and then immediately go under, and like, you know, if we're imagining this all happening at once, I'm like swimming as far as I can, popping up, firing twice, diving back under.
Yeah.
And like, I'm going to keep doing that so that I'm harder to hit in between my shots. So I submerge myself to continue swimming.
Alrighty. So Scribbles, seeing that you've submerged, she's just gonna cry out, "Die, die, die!" and shoot 2 shots at both Rudy and Wrath. Wrath, I get a 19 and a 14.
Both hit.
And Rudy, I get a 24 and a 26.
God, I might
Yeah,
die.
both of those hit.
Oh.
Wrath, it is going to be 20 points of damage.
Ah!
And Rudy, for you, 26.
Dun, 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 dun. Just keep swimming through the water.
What are you at 1 hit point, Raph?
Yeah, it's kind of my life today. It's because whenever I breathe in and I think I've got a big thing of air, she hits me with a force projectile, and then it exhales, and then I goop up a bunch of water, and it's really hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Rudy, it's your turn.
All right. From where I am going to firebolt the boat. I want to set it on fire. 16?
It's a hit.
So much fire. So 16 points of fire damage.
Ooh.
Nice.
Alrighty.
And then, so yeah, if
That boat is not looking good. There are holes blasted in it. It's on
hit by the
fire.
spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ignited.
Yeah, it's ignited.
And then I notice that Wilhelm is under the water. I'm like, good idea. And I do my dive in, and I do my 15 feet under the water.
Okay.
Via holding my breath.
Wrath, what's it going to be?
I take another shot, trading blows with this rat warlock. I got an 11.
That's a hit.
Oh, is it?
Oh, wait. No, it's not. It's a 12. Sorry, it's AC 12.
You right? Oh, okay. And second shot. Ooh. Okay, 23.
That's a hit.
This is where the money is. 13 damage.
It had 11 hit points left. So the last shot hits it critically in the front of the hull. Not critically, but like it's the last shot that like knocks out. It blasts through the hull, hits inside to the mast, and the whole ship buckles, collapses, and begins breaking apart in the water. Scribbles screeches and leaps into the water as the zombies continue to try to paddle, taking their last order. So the boat blows up. Anything else, Wrath?
Oh man, I think I'm just going to continue the pursuit.
Okay.
I'll try to. Can I go underwater as well? Is that
Yep.
possible? Okay.
Yep. Her boat totaled. Scribbles is going to do the last thing that she knows how to do: swim.
So fast.
Because ratlings have swim speeds. Because rats are really good swimmers. So she swims 60 feet.
Oh man.
She's just gonna dash and leave the zombies there. And you see she is swimming. She also like is kind of bobbing under the water, and she swims 60 feet away from you all. Desperately, like she getting through the debris. I'm gonna say that the debris of the boat slows her down, so she gets 45 feet away. Right as she swims through the wreckage, gets out of there, leaps off, and swims. She's just going for it as fast as she can.
Which direction?
We're gonna say for all of our purposes that she was heading directly away. Like everything's been heading away from the shore. Right now, Sweet Tooth jumped off and is swimming back towards the shore, but Scribbles is swimming out further to sea. With that, the zombies continue paddling. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have any other orders. They're just paddling there in the water, sinking down to the bottom. Wilhelm, we're over to you.
Is it an action to apply the oil of Taggart to a crossbow bolt?
Yes.
Oh, that takes too long. I pop up 15 feet away, and I'm going to take a disadvantaged shot at Scribbles. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. Here's a question. If I'm underwater, I mean, either way, it's at disadvantage because of the distance, so it doesn't really matter. Never mind.
But for the record, attacks with crossbows underwater don't. Attacks with piercing weapons, there's a very small list of weapons that you don't have disadvantage on when you attack with underwater, and crossbows are one of them.
Yeah, but I'm still over 30 feet away, so it's going to be a disadvantaged shot.
Let me just actually double check something. A ranged weapon attack automatically misses beyond the weapon's normal range.
Normal range being 30 feet?
Yeah. So firing it underwater, it just misses.
Well, damn, I'm useless. So then I don't do that, and I'm going to continue to swim.
Well, above water is...
Yeah, but she's
underwater.
Like, because it's a targeting sort of thing. Yeah.
I'm going to bonus action dash, and as my action, I'm going to apply the oil of Taggart, which I'm hoping is waterproof.
All right.
Get rinsed off.
Wilhelm, roll a d20.
I rolled an 11.
Okay, it seems to be sticking.
Hooray!
Cool. So Scribbles is just gonna keep swimming.
Of course she is.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know, guys.
Yeah, she's gonna keep swimming out there. Rudy, it's your turn.
So how far away is she now?
She is now. Well, I think we can. I'm gonna pull the map down for a sec because we're kind of way off of it. She is now at least 200 feet away.
Oh.
Well, she had, when the ship collapsed, did she start swimming? Like, was that her?
Yeah, that was her last turn.
Okay.
So 200 feet away.
Yeah. So 45 plus 60 plus you were 40 feet apart. So no, 140. 140.
Okay. Boys, I hate to say it, but I think we ain't gonna catch up to her. Might have to let her go this time and report back to River. I swim 15 feet, but I start to swim generally towards shore.
Alrighty. Wrath, what's it going to be?
Can I shoot beyond the range of a spell?
If you're shooting above water at her, you shoot with disadvantage with your spell, but that's it. The spell still works. It's just weapons. It's really punishing towards weapons.
Now the only thing is that it's technically, if I swim the 15 feet, it's still beyond the range. If she's 140, I only have 120, so I can swim 15 feet. But then it's technically 5 feet outside the range. So would the spell just sort of end?
I'll give it to you. You can take your last couple shots.
At
one
disadvantage?
Last chance. Yeah, one last chance.
I believe. A 10.
You got one more shot. You had some good luck tonight. You already rolled 2 20s. Can you roll a crit with disadvantage?
Can I roll double? A 12.
Total?
12 with disadvantage.
With your mods added.
Yeah. There was some low rolls there.
Not.
So just some wild in anger. And I start splashing against the top of the water and scream at the sky.
She continues swimming off. The zombies, but Wilhelm, it's over to you, bud. What are you gonna do? Sorry,
tread water angrily.
Alrighty. She keeps swimming. She just keeps swimming.
I think it's the dead of night. We're way past shore. I feel like she just disappears into the murky darkness of that water, and I lost track of her.
We know which direction she's generally headed, correct?
I can't see where she's gone. It's too dark out here.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The darkness now is a factor as well. So yeah, if you guys are gonna call it there, she swims off. Where Sweet Tooth and Scribbles have gone, who knows?
The
I
zombie
really thought you guys had her.
wreckage.
We do.
The zombie wreckage. I want to try to see if I can find anything floating above the water. Like some of the stuff that I threw at her. The
Give
maps.
me an investigation check.
Oh boy, big old 19. Where were you?
She left behind all the papers. In her, the papers are all still there. Everything that you threw at her, she didn't grab it in her haste to leave. She forgot it.
Grab it.
Scoop it up.
Yeah.
I'll meet you back at shore.
There's zombies at the bottom of this lake, right?
They're fine.
Like they're just
they're
paddling.
Yeah, they're at the bottom of the water, still like just paddling.
As we're swimming back, I say,
swim.
Always remember, friends, rule number 6, there's always a trail to follow. We haven't seen the last of her yet, and we will find her again.
Think we will? I can't believe she got away. We were so close. River's not going to let us have a bath now.
Rudy, I won't lie, I thought you were dead when you disappeared. And Wrath, I heard you call us friends when you were arguing with her to bring back Rudy. So
Oh, really?
yeah, he
Yes.
said, bring back my friend, and he said, I'll get my friend to stop stabbing you. It was really the nicest moment that we've had with Wrath, I think.
And then I died.
I'm
and,
sad I missed it.
I saw the other side, and it was everything I wanted it to be.
Wrath, you're bleeding a lot.
Mhm.
Yes. I have many contusions and abrasions to my body.
As I get to the shore, I'm like helping you out of the water, and I'm like, I can't tell which of us is bleeding more. There's blood everywhere. It's yours, it's mine. Rudy, you seem fine.
as blood gushes down my face. I'm like, it's a scratch. I've had worse.
Oh, is that your blood on your face?
Yes.
Oh, that's new.
The first time.
I mean, I got magicked in the face, so I mean,
I think all of you have gone down at least once. Like, you guys have been, like, I think it's in this moment, like, consider all the battles that you've been through this day, this night. You guys are going to be in a horrible amount of pain tomorrow.
I need a bath. I need some downtime. Some R&R is deserved, I think, despite our failures this night. I think River will understand that we did everything we could.
failures. I would say between how many ratlins we took out, yeah, we let the magical one go away, but can't say it's a total failure.
No, we've uncovered the mysteries of Dransmond, and we have, at least seemingly, the idea was to get rid of the leaders and the rest of the ratlings would scatter. That's what River had said. The leaders are gone. We killed the 2 giant rats, and Scribbles has fled. What's left of them will scatter and disperse. And as for the fish, we know that their base is further down the shore, seemingly in the direction that Scribbles was generally heading. So perhaps our journey will take us to meet both of them again.
I have a feeling we're not done seeing these rats or these fish folk.
We have some clues in the papers she left behind.
Go dry them out real quick, and while we rest up, we can take a look at them.
This mission isn't over yet. We just need to recuperate. Rule number 39, always finish what you start. And so it's best that we gather ourselves. I know I could use a rest for at least 48 hours, probably far longer. Does anybody have any bandages? I appear to be bleeding out of most of my body. And then I lay down on the dock.
Let's just sit here for a moment and collect our thoughts.
I have clothes. Do you want me to rip up some extra clothes and wrap it around so you'll make it?
Wilhelm's already unconscious. He's
Make
passed
a
out. On the dock.
tourniquet.
All right. Well, I toss him over my shoulder and say, "Rat, let's head back to the inn."
Kind of
Okay.
drag myself there.
As you stumble back through the streets of Dransmond towards Kraken Manor and stumble in through the doors in the middle of the night, the terrified attendants looking at you covered in blood and filth, and one of them just says, I'll fetch you all a towel." And they send you, and they one of the attendants brings a healer's kit and some aloe vera and whatever balms and stitches and things that they can find, and several of the valets stay up and help tend you and make sure that you can all rest. As you come back, though, River is up, and she sees the state that you are all in, and she says, "We can talk about it in the morning. You need to take care of yourselves."
Thank you.
We're going to sleep. I just drag myself towards my room.
I need a soft bed.
She just says, "Just tell me one thing. Did you do it?"
The ratlings,
One got away.
they're no longer in the sewers in Dransmond, if that is what you're asking. We did as well as we could.
There's that look on River's face that you can never tell what emotion she's processing. She says, "Get some rest. You need it."
Collapse on my bed. Ooh, are we
Yeah.
long resting?
Are we long?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Been a while.
I don't even know. Yeah, the last time we got a long rest.
You got a long rest.
Oh, man. What a day. What a day.
I think I'm going to say each of you roll a d6.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
I got a 2.
2.
2.
Okay. So 2 days later, you get out of bed.
That's exactly what Wilhelm said. He needed 48 hours.
Needed like a good 2 days.
Yeah.
Sort of just.
You have, with what you have done, you have driven off the ratlings, slain most of their leaders, and the fish folk. You've accomplished a major objective, and you all gain a level.
Oh, snap. Well, that's exciting.
Bam,
Expecting that.
And after you have 2 full days of rest, right? On the next morning, River returns, and she says, she checks in with you once over the 2 days, and she says, you take the time that you need. You're all really wounded. We'll talk about it when you feel ready to.
Thank you. I think when you hear what we've been through, you'll be mighty interested to find out where we ended up.
Well, what we can do is, do you guys want to talk with River right now, and then you can handle leveling up over the break?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Sounds good. Alrighty. So, recuperating after several days of patching your wounds, all of you are really, really sore. And the conclusion from River over the next couple days, just in general, is that you definitely all need probably a couple more days off. But after 2 days, she sits down with you over breakfast, and she says, "All right, tell me what happened."
Well,
where do we start?
We'll start at the beginning. We went back to where the ratlins were, infiltrated their lair, and Wrath became a rat. So that was mighty interesting. And we took out. There was about three big players in the ratlins nest. Chonkers.
Chonkers and Chungus.
Yeah.
And Scribbles.
2 of them. Massive. Massive.
I'll bring out the sheets and start to kind of arrange the blueprint as like at like the table. They had plans for some sort of underwater attack vehicle. They had planned to hijack a boat for quite a long time. We seem to have put an end to the initial foothold that the Radlings had in the city, but the one they call Scribbles, someone that can commune with magic and some kind of being from another plane of existence, it got away.
This ratling that got away was really dangerous. Far more capable than I could have anticipated. You're lucky to be alive.
I mean, we tried our darndest to get it, but unfortunately, it swims real fast.
If I could tell you that we put every ounce of effort that we could conceivably have into ridding the world of that rat, I would still be falling short of the truth. I assure you.
I believe you. And though it's not dead, it will be soon. These are its papers, yes?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. I have a proposition for you all. If you want to find this ratling, we might be able to turn where it's gone to our advantage. I can use my magic to scry on it. These are its papers. It's one of its own possessions. We'll be able to pinpoint its exact location, figure out where it is, what it's doing, what it might be planning. Perhaps we can turn that to our own advantage if we use this strategically. It's unfortunate that it escaped, but perhaps we can turn that into an advantage.
Man, magic, eh? Who knew? I knew that there was going to be a trail to follow. I didn't know that the trail was going to be magical spying through papers. Wrath, can you do that?
No, this is beyond me. However,
don't you
she's
often
right.
tell me, like, oh, I can outdo River and blah, blah, blah. Couldn't
Look,
even
that is neither
summon
here nor there.
orcs. Okay.
It is a respectable idea. We'll see how it...
It might also be to our benefit, River.
Damn, I'm so smart.
It might also be to our benefit that, it is possible that Scribbles changes course or winds up somewhere else, but loosely she was heading in the general direction, I think, of where the fish folks had alluded to their home base being. So perhaps our journey still takes us in the same hopeful direction, because we do need to investigate further the fish folk as well, and this supposed Duchess.
What do you make of this? The fish folk, the rattling wrote here, "Get the big shiny." What do you make of that?
They talked something about, it sounded like delirium under the water. Perhaps a large piece of delirium fell somewhere in the lake and perhaps is attracting both the fish folk and the rat folk to it.
Well, the fish folk talked about it. That's how they change the surface folk into something like themselves.
Yes, they refer to the shiny as any sort of piece of delirium. So this could likely be some sort of large undiscovered piece.
This would make sense. Ash Bay is at the mouth of the Duran River. For 15 years, who knows how much delirium has passed this way. This is concerning for a few reasons. One of the things that we discovered when we were studying delirium in Drakkenheim is that delirium is quite unlike an earthly mineral. It's really bizarre, but it's more like wood or a fungus or a plant than a mineral. It grows.
It grows?
Yes, it grows. Slowly, imagine watching a tree, a sapling. After a year or two, a sapling is nothing. It takes years and years before it gets any larger. But as it gets larger, of course, it spreads out seeds of its own. We've wondered for some time whether delirium is not similar in some way. The only thing that we have found is that within Drakkenheim, there is a fog, this strange arcane phenomenon we've called the haze. Whatever the haze is what causes the delirium to grow. When we've removed delirium from the haze outside Drakkenheim, it doesn't grow anymore.
Doesn't grow on the surface? What about the roots?
We don't know. But if they're talking about a big shiny, delirium is massive. Well, and I mean massive in the sense that it's dense. A small shard of delirium only the size of palm of your hand, well, those are insanely valuable, but they're also heavy. They weigh several pounds. We found crystals of delirium in clusters as large as a human in the city of Drakkenheim. They weigh tons. Moving them is impossible. If anyone was moving a large piece of delirium outside of Drakkenheim, we would know. It takes that much effort and work. But the Ratlings seem to be talking about there being a large shard. What if it grew?
Is it not possible that it was a break-off of the original source that landed in the water, or are we to suspect that it was a smaller piece that had been growing? Would there be people who would have scoured the coast for delirium?
It's entirely possible. The meteor, according to those who saw it happen, broke off like a fireball over the air, and there have been reports of smaller pieces that have touched down. Tearhaven was one of them. So it is possible. But the shard that you found in Tearhaven was a crystal.
And it did a lot of damage, so it's very concerning to imagine what a larger piece would do.
Imagine that. Like you said, without the haze, it seems not to grow. So either it's growing and something else is causing it to grow, or maybe those who know about it, like the fish folk, know how to grow it.
It's entirely possible. There are some monsters that we've seen in Drakkenheim. Not the Ratlings, mind you, but others, perhaps the fish folk are similar. There are others that seem to be dependent on delirium and the haze. Not to call into question of this, but there was a individual that was located in the ruins who had survived for some time. She had been changed significantly by the haze, transformed. And what we found was that she is metabolically dependent on the haze for survival. If she leaves it, she dies. Probably within a few days. Just the inverse of what happens to others. Those that venture into the haze, it will kill you within a day if you stay there too long.
Well, then what would you suggest our next course of action is? We have both the fish folk and the Ratlings. Are we safe to assume that they may be heading to the same location? And Scribbles is alone. She has nobody else with her. Do the rats have a way of, I suppose with her magic, perhaps she could call upon the Ratlings nearby to come to her? Is that something that we might assume? I'm not really sure how magic works, so I don't know if there's a spell of summon Ratling. Sounds like a spell. Perhaps
she has a magic pipe, and she'll just call up a Pied Piper to gather up all the rats and march them off into the ocean.
Oh, that's a thing.
I mean, sounds like a good idea, but no.
Oh, sorry, I'm a little foggy on the magic humor. Wrath tries it with me once in a while, and it doesn't really fly.
It's possible. It's possible, but if I was trying to gather up a bunch of people, I would need to use my magic to communicate with you one at a time, right? There's other ways that even the Academy could communicate with a large number of people, but we would need many of our mages. It doesn't seem likely to me that a single Ratling can communicate with more, but this spell of contact other plane, she could commune with her rat god.
That or some sort of beacon that draws them.
And for the record, I have seen the rat god. It spoke to me, and it is real and it is terrifying. And it told the other rat, Sweet Tooth, to lead us to Scribbles. So for some reason, the rat god wanted us to find scribbles.
Wilhelm. We may not have mentioned it in the journey and the battle.
The important thing is
like the wrath, like
you guys saw that.
to
The rat god. You saw it.
There was certainly a statue,
and it was flaring up, and it was scary. I didn't like it. I did not like it.
What about this Duchess creature? What do we know about it?
Assumption is that it's a fish.
The biggest difference I've felt between the fish and the rats is that the fish seem to, although they're also inherently evil, they seem to be very much believing that what they're doing is the right thing.
Did you
and
seem to
we're like almost an accident.
Did you
that people are hurt.
Find anything that might have belonged to this Duchess? We might be able to use that to pinpoint her.
The
I mean, my dagger stabbed her. It might still have trace amounts of blood on it.
Was there a
I mean, we didn't meet the Duchess. We just met Cookie.
Yeah,
Cookie?
and Cookie's dead, so we don't have anything belonging to the Duchess. The Duchess was not here.
What was the substance that they were using, that they were giving to people?
The vial. Yes.
Oh, Wrath, you have a vial of that stuff, don't you? Did you collect some?
They wanted us to.
Some.
Yeah, I think here, this vial of juice.
It will turn you into a fish person.
Yeah, they kind of alluded to that.
And if you
don't
rub it
drink
all over
it,
your
it's
body,
not recommended.
Not for human consumption. This battle that these two groups of creatures are fighting must extend beyond the limits of the city. I feel like we only see a small war zone. This other piece of delirium must be where the real battle is waged. And although we've forced them out of the city, there seems to be more that we need to do to stop them. Although we did have a small meeting with the rat god, I am hesitant to open this doorway to this other being. Although this could come in handy. Maybe it's how they are communicating. Maybe there's something else that's telling these rats what to do. They seem so enthralled by the presence of this other being. They'll follow it. Mm-hmm.
They were very susceptible to wrath. Is right that when the rat gods spoke, they were susceptible to follow its every command. Perhaps, Wrath, Rudy, you guys both have limited magic. Perhaps there's a way that you could fake an appearance of the rat god and use that to trick a ratling.
What a unique and new idea.
Our bidding. Yes, I've been pondering this for the last day or so. Could work. It could work.
I'm sure we could do that.
Maybe. Like on paper.
We'll think about it.
Very well.
But you don't think the ratlings and these fish folk are working together?
They were ready to murder each other at a moment's notice and talked extensively about eating each other.
Yeah.
Yes, the hunger of the rats seemed to outweigh any sort of alliance.
So what do you think the ratlings are trying to do?
This is the question that may come up if we ever do contact this rat god.
They mentioned a great breeding and a great feeding and the big shiny. So as far as I can tell, I mean, for all their intelligence and spell casting, they're still just rats who are trying to gather shiny things and breed and feed. So perhaps their goals are simplistic in nature, and they worship a rat god and plan to overtake the surface world with their numbers.
We need to find this big shiny.
Agreed.
Do you think the Duchess has any connection to this big shiny?
I would assume so. It was mentioned by the fish folk as well that they had a piece of delirium that they used to turn people into fish, that they were located further up the coast.
Mm-hmm. Now, they did mention a champion of sorts, as well as the cardinal who's at the lighthouse. So in terms of their troops, if you will, I'd say the rat folk currently have less, but the fish folk might be pretty armored up.
The lighthouse.
That's
had mentioned
a
possible lead, then, isn't it?
You had already mentioned that there was something strange happening near a lighthouse, and that there was. Correct me if I'm wrong. There were more clues about the elven ruins that we had uncovered, linked to a lighthouse up the coast as well.
Yes. That's what we discussed before. There is an old lighthouse. Never really uses one, actually, but might be an elven ruin up near Aschaffen. Perhaps this is the lighthouse that they're talking about. If that's possible, there have been strange rumors coming out of Aschaffen for the past while. People not coming out past that way. Maybe that's where your Duchess is hiding.
You know, if I was to use my skills of deduction, I would say that if what we know about the elven ruins is that they cause the places to be thin, as Raph has put it. So if the lighthouse is another elven ruin, which is somehow linked to the thinning of the fabrics of reality that lets other essences through, and if a big shiny has fallen or grown near this lighthouse, attracting the fish folk and the rat folk alike, then perhaps this lighthouse could be the epicenter of problems along the coast.
Wrath, the previous ruin that you went to, that was was there any sense of the presence of the other worlds, of the other realms, of a planar gateway of some kind?
Where do you think his fingers went?
It is true that the digits on my right hand were taken to another world and experienced a life of freedom before they were returned to me. These two were able to collapse the gateway, but that whole place was in a fluctuation between worlds.
What do we know about the elves? Like if they're towers?
They have pointy ears and they're quite tall.
I mean more so in the way of their tower. It was an ancient elven ruin. Do we know why these might be important to what's going on with delirium? And
there are many elves amongst the Amethyst Academy. Some of them are very old, and some of them are very ancient. They don't talk much about where they came from. It seems that the elves came to our world from another world, maybe thousands of years ago. Seems like a place they wanted to forget. Pew. It's like they're running away from a past that something that they left behind. Everyone in the Amethyst Academy that studies elven ruins isn't an elf.
perhaps the mystery of the elves is also part of this bigger picture that we need to uncover. That is yet to be seen, I imagine, but
sounds like old magic.
There is something here. There's the elven ruins, the delirium, the fish folk, the rat folk, And all of it seems to be leading us to this lighthouse at the moment.
It stands to reason. I mean, Wrath, if there was some sort of planar connection that was based around it, it's possible. It's possible that the delirium is, well, the culture.
Amplifying it?
It could be feeding off of it.
The
Right.
thinning. It's feeding off of the thinning.
What if that's all it needs? What if it is... We did find evidence of planar rifts in Drakkenheim. What if that is what keys it off? It's like the food source that whatever causes delirium to grow. Seems like a bit of a base metaphor to draw, but it could be possible.
How do you think the haze is coming from the other worlds, or that the haze and the other worlds and the thinning are what draw the delirium to grow?
Your guess is as good as mine at this stage.
I mean, my guesses are wide open. My knowledge of planes is stories and folklore, really. I know very little other than children's stories of other planes. Fantastical imaginings, but I've never... This is my first dealing with actual rifts to other dimensions. Wrath, is this new for you, or is this something that you are used to? I guess with communicating with your cat, you talk of otherworldly beasts all the time. Is Bruce from a thin? I don't really know what I'm asking. It's a cat. I'm losing myself in my own metaphor here.
Well, I was very lucky to meet such a wise and giving being that has taken the form of Bruce and passes along such tremendous power and information. These rats could have stumbled upon a creature that is unfathomably evil and is communicating through them to do its bidding. Who knows what kind of worlds you can discover. This creature that was taking the minds of the villagers of Schaffberg also came from one of these places. It's like a giant wheel that could be spun. It could, with an unknown amount of dimensions.
With my very limited knowledge of this, is it possible that Bruce and the rat god are neighbors? Perhaps they know each other. Perhaps they're old friends.
Bruce probably chases the rat god around.
Yeah, maybe Bruce can just go eat the rat god. Maybe we just ask your cat to eat the rat. It's simple.
Bruce has been through a lot.
Problem
lately.
solved, you know?
After he has rested and is ready to return, I will commune with him and see what information he can provide.
There are, Wilhelm, there are fathomless worlds beyond ours.
Oh, fathomless.
Some, of course, many
Unfathomable.
mages of the Academy have come up with their own theories over the years. Some, for a while, the theory of the Great Wheel was the dominant theory of the planes. And then for a little while, the dominant theory was that of the world axis. Others have proposed the convergence of the spheres or the planar orbits. There's a lot of schools of thought, but what is known is that there are many other worlds. Some of them are mirrors of our own, but others are stranger and more undescribable. The ones closest to our own world are the Shadowlands, the Otherworld, and Dreamland. But beyond those worlds are eternal heavenly realms and unfathomable hellish abysses. And everything in between. Where and when the energy can come through, how creating a portal, traveling from our world to one of these worlds is extraordinarily difficult. It's possible to bring a creature from some of those worlds, but the spells that we've developed tend to be very focused. The elemental planes, which are believed to be very tightly bound to our world itself, are the most accessible to us. But other realms and others have close connections to our world. It is known, for instance, that the souls of the dead pass into the Shadowlands. So there seems to be some way of entering these other worlds, but beyond that, it requires extremely powerful magic to travel to them, typically requiring an artifact from one of those worlds in order to travel to it.
Sounds very complex.
I understood some of that, yes. It sounds complicated and unlikely that Bruce and the Rat God are neighbors. I understand.
Now we can talk theory all day, but what's our next action plan? Are we going to go after the rat? Or are we going to go after the fish folk?
It sounds like if we can scry on the rat, it sounds like most things are pointing us towards this lighthouse at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So do we take a chance and go to the lighthouse? Or do we scry on the rat and see if the rat goes to the lighthouse?
River, what do you think?
The order in which you deal with these things is of utmost importance. You need to rest and recuperate, and we need to make sure that you've got the resources that you need to move forward with this. I have talked to my contacts at the Academy, and I can provide you with some more equipment and more support as needed. This is an urgent issue, and as far as I'm concerned, all of them need to be handled quickly. Whichever one is most important to you, I leave that up to you to decide.
If I may, Rudy, suggest something, and I'd like your input on this, being the sheriff. Again, with the situation, you mentioned that the ratlings are dismantled, more or less, whereas the fish folk still have a threatening force. With the power of this scrying spell, perhaps waiting for the ratlings to make their next move and spying on them and seeing what they are up to over the next few days or a week might allow us to get some insight into their plans. But it sounds like perhaps the fish folk, with their greater force, should be our next course of actions to protect as many people as possible, dismantling the fish folk and taking out their leaders. Since we know that they are near the lighthouse, it seems the most trusted information to go on. But your opinions are important in this matter.
I concur with you. I think that is the best way forward.
My only concern is how quickly do rats breed. I think if we're not going to take them on, if we're going to go for the fish folk, River, we're going to need some updates on how their forces are amassing, because I don't want to let them get to the size that they were before and be back in the situation where we're at, where we didn't get a chance to take them out.
A colleague of mine studied the ratlings quite closely. They seem to mature at the same speed as a normal rat, which means that they grow up in about 6 weeks.
So, with 6 weeks, we won't take that long. Where is this lighthouse located? It's about how many days' journey are we saying?
Let's take a look here. So, if we pull ourselves over here to our big old map. All right, so here we are in Westamar as a whole. So, right now, we got to update our little token there. There we go.
I just moved us.
Great. Okay.
Trotting along.
So you're up here in Ash Bay at Dransmond. So if the lighthouse is located near Aschaffen, that's the best bit of intelligence. So you're looking at about a journey by land of about 100 kilometers.
What's the terrain like? Is it a pretty smooth travel, or is it going to be rainy and horrible?
It's going to be rainy. It's traveling along a seaside road. Potentially as well, the if you could make a deal with someone to take a boat.
Faster.
Would that be faster?
Would be.
Yeah, we do know the dockmaster down.
Yeah, we helped that one guy home. Perhaps he could lend us a boat,
Yeah.
or be a captain for us.
Yeah. River says, all right, I will make arrangements for a ship to ferry you to Aschaffen. And I will also ensure that I would also like you to provide me with any other supplies that you might need for your upcoming mission. And I will confer with my contacts in the academy to see if we can also get you some new equipment.
You did mention when we arrived here that you'd be working on some fancy equipment for us. Is that still in process?
Yes.
Hmm.
But in another few days, we should have it for you. So let's see to that. Take a few more days to rest and recuperate. And we will reconvene after the break. And we are back from our break. Thanks for your patience while we all scramble to level up.
Choices, choices.
So many choices.
Yeah, so let's get our usual thank yous out of the way and get back on into it, and let us know what you leveled up with.
All right, so we'll start by saying that if you are enjoying the stream and you'd like to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can find out how by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes. And by joining our Patreon, you get access to our phenomenal Discord community, which is exclusive for our patrons. We discuss all things nerdy there. We discuss D&D. We discuss Drakkenheim. You can get behind the scenes discussions on what's going on in Monty's brain, which is terrifying. You can also take part in our monthly Q&As and monthly writers' rooms, where you can help Monty and I come up with scripts for future episodes, and we can answer your questions in our monthly Q&A. So join us on Discord if you are jumping onto our Patreon, and thank you very much for the amazing support of our Patreon supporters so far. It has been incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, for all you folks out there in Twitch chat wondering what is going on with Monty's cosmology and world, join us in the behind the scenes chat and maybe you'll get some answers.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store. You can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts, including Yes, 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 the Dusk Wardens, and Way Bigger Than Ducks. Check it out at bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
And of course, in our game tonight, we use a variety of incredible assets produced by talented artists. They might be watching, they might be listening. They have graciously given us permission to use these assets in our streamed games, but you can use them at your table as well. We encourage you to check out and support these amazing creators. We have Roll20 with the virtual tabletop, battle maps by Alex Vendara of Neutral Party and Russ McConnell of 2 Minute Tabletop, custom maps created using Dungeon Fog and Wonder Draft, player character artwork by Jeremy Cole, NPC token artwork by Matthias Bourbon, monster token artwork from the D&D 5e Monster Manual and other source books, spell effects tokens by Gabriel Picard, and music by Tabletop Audio. So thank you to all of these amazing creators.
Thank you all so much. I think, does that let us dive right back on into it? Yeah. Amazing. Thank you, Joe. So let's return to the shadows after several days of resting and recuperating. You now have all leveled up to level 7 and got some new swag. So what we'll do is I'll let you know what your rewards from the academy are individually, and you tell me what you level up. Kelly, do you want to kick things off? Pardon me.
Sure. Should I go first with what I get from leveling up, and then you'll reward me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have gained level 7, which for a rogue means that I get evasion, meaning that if I'm making a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, I instead take no damage if I succeed on the saving throw and only half damage if I fail. So despite my super low hit points, which have gone up to 45, I might survive.
Nice. Well, River brings to you in a solid case lined with lead. She opens up a case that inside are the parts to assemble a crossbow. You can assemble this this is a magical crossbow that you can assemble with a minute of work. You can assemble it into any type of crossbow you wish. So it has mods that basically you want to make it a full-on versus another one. It actually has a scope built onto it, and the scope is actually built out of a refracted lens made from delirium. And the stock has been engraved with the Expert Academy craftsmanship, and the River explains, be careful with this one. We built it with a hair trigger, and it's very, very sensitive. It seems to have a little bit of latent paranoia to it. Might be a byproduct of the spells of where we harvested the delirium in it. It functions as a weapon of warning.
Wonderful. And I can turn this into a hand crossbow or like a large crossbow.
Yeah, with about a minute of work, you can rebuild it into like it. Basically, the box has all the parts in it. You can disassemble it, take it apart. Like I don't know if you've seen like modern crossbows. Like essentially, it resembles a modern crossbow and that type of engineering, but built by the Academy in this. So it's completely modular. Like you can replace all the parts on it and make it everything from a hand crossbow to a larger one by just changing the stocks. And as long as the core of it is the same, it still keeps its magic.
Wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And she says, lift up the bottom component.
The bottom component? Yeah.
The bottom of the box opens up, and there's some larger pieces in there.
Ooh.
With an hour of work, you can assemble it as a ballista.
Wow. Well, this is...
It's not necessarily portable in that way, but you can set it up as a ballista if you want to.
The classic ballista of warning.
Handed to the Academy.
This is incredible. The craftsmanship is unlike anything I've ever seen. Thank you so much, River. I suppose working for you does have its benefits.
The parts, the box itself weighs 5 pounds, and the parts go back in the box and fold back into place. Like what you actually see as she has unpacks it for you is that it's like the parts or the box kind of fold through space a little bit when it unfolds and folds back up again.
This is unsettling. Thank you. I will have nightmares about this box.
She then produces a similar box for Rudy. The box opens up showing an axe, but also a lot of axe blades and axe parts. And as she opens it up, she explains that much like Wilhelm's crossbow, it is modular. So you can assemble this as a pair of hand axes, or a pair of battle axes, or a great axe. Again, it takes a minute of work, but basically any axe type weapon, you can, if it's two-handed, you have to use all the parts, but you can assemble it as two magical axes as well. You have to wield both the axes together to benefit from their extra properties though. Okay, so if the parts of these things are assembled, I'll be specific with both these. The parts are such that you can't assemble more than the weapons that I've specified, essentially. Okay, the core of the weapon is still needed for the whole thing. But these weapons, the property of your weapon, Rudy, is she points to the haft of the axe, which actually is made of that is several glass vials wrapped around delirium cores that appear to be slightly hollow. And then she points you to this funnel, this fluted funnel that's on the axe blades. She's like, this one's a blood drinker. When you kill somebody with this axe, you have to kill them. You gain 2d6 temporary hit points.
So I'm fueled by the blood of my enemies, is what you're saying with these axes.
Well, strictly speaking, the axe drains their life force and turns it into vitality for you by refracting their vital energy through a delirium core. And she starts like explaining the magic behind it. Yeah.
I take them out of. Are they 2 axes currently?
All the parts are there in front of you.
The parts are there. Okay. Interesting. Thank you, River. This is gonna help. I mean, I kill my enemies anyways, so that's not the hard part. But being fueled by them, that's an extra tricky piece from the academy. So I thank you kindly.
And for Wrath, she produces a bag.
And did you forget?
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
you
yes.
got to level up, Rudy.
level up.
What did you
Oh
level
yeah,
up?
sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, I level up. I got war magic. So when I use my action to cast a cantrip, I can make 1 weapon attack as a bonus action. Woohoo! And I got 2nd level spells. Yes. So I ended up taking. I got rid of one of my first levels and went with Arcane Lock and Warding Wind as my
Cool.
2nd level spells.
Cool. All right, Wrath.
Nice.
What did you take for leveling up?
I had to, after communing with Bruce, he has taught me a darker, more sinister version of Hunger of Hadar in the form of Ivar's black tentacles.
This is Bruce's black tentacles.
Yes, Bruce's black tentacles, and it's mostly his paw that scratches, and it's in addition to the licking, and then also I was able to take out some a vampiric touch for hypnotic pattern,
and Bruce's hypnotic pattern essentially conjures laser pointers. The same way that
just keeps them focused.
Yeah.
I also received a new invocation, and after dying in the depths of the harbor and coming back to life, Bruce has bestowed upon me the gift of the depths.
Cool.
Allowing me to breathe underwater. I have a swim speed, and I can cast water breathing once per long rest. So
nice.
I look forward to leveraging this on our quest against the fish people and those evil rats.
So River pulled a few strings for you, and your Academy ring is now a full-blown ring of spell storing. So you can hold 5 levels worth of spells in it. But she also says, in the bag, it's time for you to have a proper set of Academy robes as well. It's a bit of a tradition in the Academy. And inside the bag is a robe of useful objects in proper Academy style.
I reach in and I try not to show, but I'm blessed that River thought of me.
Yep.
This is a big moment in every Academy member's tenure. Thank you, River.
You're welcome. Fortunately, it's quite durable. You'll find it's easy to launder.
I'm sorry we couldn't complete the task at hand, but renewed with these magic items, I feel that we can really put it down on these rats and these fish folk and continue our journey to discover the lengths that this delirium has traveled.
Yes. We absolutely. I have made arrangements for you to. I have secured a passage for you on a ship that will take on a small fisher's boat that will take you up to Dransmund, or from Dransmund to Aschaffen. It'll be a journey of about a day and a half. But there's a simple complication. Nobody wants to take you all the way. So the boat that I've secured for you, the captain has agreed to bring you close and give you a rowboat.
I think we can manage that.
One question. Are our horses to remain here in Dransmund?
That would be the plan, yes.
Will you take care of Bishop for me?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Petey, he has become close to me.
Sal's a strong horse. He's pretty sturdy. You don't have to worry too much about him.
That's suitable. Very well then. So you're going to head up. If you head down to the docks, talk to the harbor master. He'll recognize you, and he'll set you up with Greshik's boat. It's not. I'll apologize in advance for the conditions. Money had to talk in this case. It's not a very nice boat. It smells really bad.
Well, I guess back into the thick of it, I suppose. But, I mean, we have a day and a half, and hopefully the seas are calm, and if I can kick my feet up and relax another day and a half on a boat, I can handle the smell.
River, have we heard any word from my family? I know I tried to send a letter before, but...
Well, I have made some arrangements, yes. Given the circumstances, I have pulled some strings with the Academy, and I felt it appropriate for us to equip you with some more communication tools. She presents a pair of... She presents another object. It resembles a rectangular slate that has a piece of glass in the middle of it, and it illuminates, revealing on the back of it this piece of like small pieces of delirium, and it illuminates with several arcane sigils. This is a sending stone. I have the paired one. You can use this to contact me by pressing this sigil. Its magic will work once per day. But, Rudy, in light of everything else, I've also keyed this sending stone to one that I've sent to your family. Its magic will work once per week.
Very much appreciate that. I hope they call me when they get it, or at least they know how to use it.
They'll be waiting for you to call them.
All right, I'll give him a call. Maybe before we get off the smelly boat.
Yes, we call these ones... We used to call them sending stones, but now it feels more appropriate to call them smart stones.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, smart, sure. They're stones.
How smart can they be?
Well, there's actually a lot of really, really intricate arcane circuitry going on under the hood. I mean, the processing power of these new models alone is at least over the Sending Stone. Like, this is the Sending Stone 12. You know, like last year's model, the Sending Stone 11s, this one will send 25 whole words per message. Last year's model, it only sent 24.
Your story is very intriguing, River. Thank you.
Oh, River, I got one more thing that maybe you can take a look at. We couldn't quite figure out what it was. And so when we had been in Scribbles, we had the warm gem that I wrapped up. And I take it out and I say, any idea what this could be?
Yes, this is an elemental gem. If you throw this on the ground, it will summon a fire elemental. Very useful.
Good to know. I think I'll keep that in my pocket.
Try not to summon it on the boat. A fire elemental in a boat sounds like a bad idea.
I'll do my best.
Now, finally, I understand that you will need some provisions for healing.
I am flat out of those magical little potions that you keep giving us. I could use 30, 40, a whole boatload.
She's got a jar of restorative ointment for each of you.
Ooh.
Yeah, I got 'em.
Yep.
And remind me, how many charges does it have again?
These are full bottles. They're 5.
5 charges.
Yep.
It was 15?
Pardon?
How much is one charge? Like the
one charge is 18 hit points.
18.
Yep. So there's one for each of you. Make them count.
River, thank you. I feel as if we may not see you for some time.
I'll be in touch here. You're doing good work.
I like to think so.
Remember, as long as... Keep this in mind. There's not consensus from the Academy regarding this project. Okay? Not everyone in the Academy feels the same way that we have a responsibility about these things, and many members of the Academy are very, very unwilling to contribute resources, time, and energy to projects outside the city of Drakkenheim. We're gathering a lot of evidence to convince them otherwise, but it's really important that we have these resources. The better we do, and the more progress that I can take back to them, the more resources I'll be able to secure for this project.
Well, we'll do our best to be impressive in the things that we find, so that way it helps fund the research. But I think overall, we're doing a pretty solid job of getting rid of the creepy crawlies that happen to be hiding under the streets here.
Not to complicate matters, but if there is a large amount of delirium, it would really help our cause if you didn't destroy it.
How would we go about transporting such a thing? It can't be left out in the wild.
It can't. But if it's there, and it exists, it might be the evidence that I need to get more support from the Academy. If for no other reason than for them to contribute resources to harvest any delirium that you might find out here. There's one thing that will get them to act, and it's a big haul.
So if we find it, we send word to you, and the Academy will come and excavate.
Securing it would be the best option. If it is indeed something that exists out there, destroying delirium should only be taken as a last resort.
Well, if it helps the Academy figure out how to stop it from growing out here, or growing, if that's what you even call it, then I'm glad to help. But I hope that's what it does, and it's not just something that we're taking back to the Academy for them to use for their own bidding.
If we find evidence out here that delirium grows, and it's growing outside the city, and we bring that evidence back to the Academy, it will be a major discovery. It will be major proof that it's possible to foster the growth of delirium outside Drakkenheim. I hope I'm impressing to you just how important a discovery that would be for the more, shall we say, industrious members of the Academy.
These
So,
magic items that you've provided us with are fueled by delirium.
That's correct.
I believe it is best in the hands of the Academy. They seem to know what they are doing, and River, I will take it upon myself to make sure that we deliver.
I see no reason to go against this concept at the moment. So, River, you have my word. And I mean, rule number 8, a man is only as good as his word. So, you have that.
Never forget, in the words of a great healer, it is the dose that makes the poison. Many of our medicines that we have trusted for long before even we've used magic, those substances are poisonous. They will kill in large quantities. But when used properly, with knowledge, wisdom, and moderation, they're medicine. Anything can behave the same way. A fire will burn down a city, but it also cooks our food. Water will drown us, but we need it to live. Delirium is dangerous, but it's powerful and it's useful. We make use of useful things. Keep that in mind.
Fair enough. Well, are any of you not good at boat travel? Is there anybody who gets seasick on long voyages or anything like that?
Nah, I have a sturdy constitution. I think I should be fine.
Agreed. It should be a easy sail. God, dang it! I didn't have it. I don't know why I tried.
Let's try Wrath. It's okay. You'll get it next time.
Perhaps next time.
Overwhelmed with emotions. This is the closest I've ever been with River.
Well, I'm very happy that you're bonding with your sister. Family is the most important thing that we have.
She's been showering me with gifts as of late, and it's made up for some lost time. We were young rivals, and I hope one day she sees me as a true equal, and then I will surpass her and crush her. And no, I have to remember why we're.
Raph, 2 things that I'd like to say to you. One, if you ever fail as an Academy wizard, you definitely have a career in the theaters, as your portrayal of a rat was strikingly appropriate and shockingly terrifying. Do not lose yourself in these roles. And number 2, you called me your friend back on the docks.
I do not remember this.
And I want you to know that I trust you. I trust both of you. And I mean, rule number 60, stick close to those you trust. So, Raph, I haven't said this to you, but I'm glad you're here. And I am happy to have you as part of this team. And you can be junior vice deputy. I've elected you.
What an honor. I am humbled.
Wait, do you have that kind of power in Deer Haven?
No, but I mean, it's a useless title if we just tell him that he gets it. I mean, I'm just trying to make friends here, Rudy.
All right, okay.
What a day.
You do you.
You head down, leaving the. It's been about a week since your last battles, and so now you depart the Kraken's. Depart Kraken Manor and head down to the docks to meet the dock master, who eagerly thanks you for putting an end to the situation. There haven't been any brutal murders for the past week, although a few people have still walked off the docks.
Oh.
Man.
And he introduces you to Greshik, who runs a keelboat, a stinking, rotting keelboat that has a pile of that just smells of fish. It just smells of dead fish. And so Greshik has a pair of a salty-eyed daughter and a rather dim-looking son, and the two of them are tending to the boat, getting it ready to set sail. And you can see as you come up, a rather portly wife. Greshik is talking to his wife, saying, "Don't you worry now. If we don't come back, that strange-looking academy lady paid us a fair amount of gold. And she's also said that if I don't come back, that you're to go to her and you're to collect the extra payment. You understand?" And he says something, and then he says something about make sure to get that insurance.
I see that we found our boat captain and voyage vessel. I could have hoped for more.
I know she said it stank, but who would want to live on a boat that smells like fish all the time? Crazy.
Perhaps fishermen. Perhaps they're used to it.
Bruce enjoys it.
Cats, true. Cats would smell fish all the time.
That's good for Bruce.
All right. He says to you, "Now, welcome, Greshik. This is Knight's Spittoon, my ship. Been in my family for, well, at least 30 years. My father owned it, my grandfather owned it, my great-grandfather owned it. Now I'm 40 years old, and so I've lived longer than any of my grandparents, and I don't intend to die out on this trip out to Aschaffen. You understand me?"
None of us do.
Now we're going to tow the rowboat behind, and once we get out there, once we get inside of that awful lighthouse, you're going to take this boat. You can take the oars in the rowboat. You can paddle yourself out that way. You understand?
Yes. Do you mind if I inquire, what is it that makes you not wish to approach the shore?
Them folk, them Aschaffen folk, they're a weird bunch.
That's the first time I've heard that.
So
What's so weird about them?
Yeah, the weirdness keeps you from going near that place. I mean, there are weird folk here.
They got a strange look about them. Not like, I mean, this one's very weird looking, but...
Point to Raph.
Yeah, I'm pointing at Raph. Like him?
No. No, they say...
I'm yelling at Bruce, get on the boat. Yes, there's fish on there. That's why it smells like that.
They got a strange look about them, like you could just see right through them. They're all so thin.
Thin?
I don't think he means what it sounds like he means. Otherwise, he would be much more knowledgeable about the ongoings than he would appear. But I'm going to take him at a surface value for his words and assume that that was a weird coincidence that has triggered something inside of me.
You're saying all of this out loud, Wilhelm.
Oh, I'm doing it again.
Now, sir, you mean thin as in like gangly?
I'm saying, them folk, they live on a good stretch of fishing lands. They're too thin. You'd think with all the plenty they get in their catches, they'd be fat. Not a fat one amongst them.
I mean,
So
maybe
you
they
stay
have
away-
dietary restrictions. Who knows?
Yeah, you stay away from shore based on diets and funny looks. I mean,
My colleagues, maybe we cannot chalk up these strange coincidences to dietary restrictions. I have a feeling it might go deeper.
True.
he's not the first person to talk about the weirdness around Ash Bay. And I mean, rule number
There's
7
another
is...
one, too.
Oh,
restrictive diets. That's all. That's
That's-
why. Oh, okay.
Past while it's been. And up around that area, there's been a fog. Pretty deep fog. And I don't know, people are saying it's put them in a bad way.
What color is this fog? Is it like a normal fog, or are we talking? Does it appear?
Incomprehensible.
Does it appear as an incomprehensible? Good word, Wrath.
No,
An
there's
incomprehensible fog.
a color to it.
Oh, good. Well,
It
this
makes
sounds
people
like
sick.
berries to me.
Does it make people sick when they go in it?
It gives me a terrible headache. Some folk have been out fishing that way and come back just not feeling right.
I wonder, Wrath, if River knows that they might be this haze thing that she was talking about over by Aschaffen.
Well, she gave you that smart stone, so perhaps
We
relaying
can
that
call her.
message to her might be today's mission.
You'll see it when you get there.
Oh.
It's strange.
Does it send pictures, Rudy?
Pictures, like drawings? I don't think the Smart Stone can draw.
Maybe next year's model. It's frustrating. Feels so limited. Maybe
We
it
will
costs
describe
extra.
it. I'm sure we can describe it to her, like most people would pass on information. Do you
mean,
paint?
I'm a master of painting word pictures, so I can describe just about anything.
All
All right, we'll give her a call and let her know. Maybe when we get closer, we can really determine if it's that's what it is and what she described to us.
So I'll take you out past that way. Then you can take the boat, and it's yours from there. You're on your own for getting back, though. You understand?
Oh, that's just great. Yes.
That's how it usually goes.
Sounds like the people of Aschaffen aren't doing much fishing over there, so they might have a boat we can borrow.
Alrighty. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Don't talk to my kids.
Okay.
How long is the journey?
I'm
is
real
it
good
going to
with
be like
kids, though.
days of us ignoring?
It's like a day.
I just
If you
pop
talk
out my
to-
wallet
if
and
you-
I say, you know what? I have 10 kids of my own, and I pop out my wallet and I show them my kids. I'm great with kids. Got grandbabies too.
Oh, those are some kids.
I hope he's as observant.
Do they
with
work
the
hard?
fog.
Of course they do.
So do mine. Don't talk to my kids when they're working.
All right.
All right.
Well, we must be respectful of the captain's wishes.
It's going to be a very quiet day and a half. I'm probably just going to read over my rules again and smoke my pipe and relax.
Probably put my axes together.
Alrighty. As you board the boat, and the crew wordlessly, the Captain Greshik barks orders to his kids, but it's more of a grunt, right? He's one of those like salty older men. Like he said he was 40, but if he said he was 60, you'd believe him. And he orders the kids around who, they themselves, they could be easily in their 30s themselves, but they have this dour, sour look to them, like just the sallow patches under their eyes as they get the sails going and get the boat going forward, and they tow the rowboat behind them. He says, "You all can sit down in the cabin."
All right.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. With that, is there anything else you'd like to do as the boat departs?
Be uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable.
I feel like I'm just like sitting there, like not wanting to touch anything. I don't know who to talk to. There must be, over the next day and a half, perhaps we should find a way to break bread with this captain. I mean, if we can get him talking, perhaps we can learn more about the mysteries he's seen on the bay.
In the evening, he comes down with some hard bread and some salted fish, and opens up a cask of this watery ale. You eat?
Yes. Do you drink?
Kids will have the ship going through the night. They'll just
Then
be fine.
join us for a drink, will you?
Mm-hmm. All's well and good. What y'all need to get out to Aschaffen so fast for?
You're from Dransmund, correct? You've probably heard of the horrible things.
I come up from a little village on the other side of the bay. No, not from Dransmund originally.
Fair enough. Have you heard of the stories as of recently about the horrible things happening in Dransmund, the people that went missing?
Aye.
We have reason to believe that it leads back to this location, this area. So we're looking into it to see if we can help.
Seems pretty bad, but I mean, people have been dying around all this area for years, as far as I'm concerned.
How many years? Would you say that there was a time before that people died less around these parts? And how long ago would you say that was?
Storm comes in, knocks over a bunch of fishing boats, 100 sailors die, little village starves to death. Don't see a bunch of weird looking folks in purple robes coming around when folks die about for those reasons.
I'm going to pour him another drink as we're talking.
Oh. Don't see folk in purple robes coming around with a bag of gold to haul folk off to war, do I?
What sort of things have you seen around the bay? Anything very unusual? Anything? Any folklore or strange fisherman stories? I've heard that fishermen have some of the greatest stories about sirens and...
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you one. Maybe about, I don't know, must have been 8, maybe 10 years ago, around when, there was all the war going on, right? And we were first starting to hear word of people going to that city. The one. Bunch of folk came back, started hauling up whatever ships they could, hired a big old boat, and hired a bunch of folk. There were folk coming off from way off. Like I tell you, must have been maybe about 8. Yeah, about 6 years ago. You started getting folk in here from across the sea, coming in
across the sea.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, like we'd never seen before. Like I tell you, now we've always had folk coming from all parts across. Dransmund's biggest port in the whole of Westamar. But I mean, we had folk coming from Mount this or that, and even further lands beyond. You wouldn't even know. Like I'd never seen folk in ships like that coming before. And of course, a few of them came and, well, there was this boat. They called it the Empress Geraldine. And they said that they'd been buying up a bunch of them rocks.
From across the sea, and I'm going to top off his drink again.
No, it was the Geraldine that come from across the sea.
And to buy rocks. Were they taking it back across the sea?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
That night, they set out. Worst storm we've ever had in Ash Bay in 50 years hit. And the Empress Geraldine didn't make it out of the bay.
Full of these rocks.
That's what they say.
Whereabouts did it sink? Is it near where we're headed?
Yep.
Very interesting. Good story, if I do say so, Captain.
I don't know how much stock I put in it.
Well, you know, rule number 7, follow a rumor, but do not give it value until you prove it's fact.
Captain, how long ago was this?
Oh, must have been the wreck of the Geraldine? Maybe about 6-7 years back.
I'm going to pour him a little more ale. And you've been boating around these parts for some time. You're not interested in seeing what happened to the Geraldine?
That wreck of the Empress Geraldine. It's at the bottom of the bay now. Good riddance.
Of course, Wilhelm,
You ever-
fishermen don't have time to go exploring wrecks on the bottom of the ocean. They're very busy people.
Fair enough, but you ever been out by that way since?
People never went to Aschaffen all that much. Mind, they've always been strange folk. But it was only a few years ago that fog started rolling in. Waters got tougher, and the folk of Aschaffen started coming around less and less. That's why I'm not taking you close. That's why I'm gonna take your friend's money. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not looking forward to getting much closer than where we are.
Sounds like they're pretty reclusive. Keep to themselves. Wonder what changed.
What was the captain's name again? I'm forgetting.
Greshik.
Greshik. Well, Greshik, I thank you for joining us for drinks this evening. It's been very insightful. I've always enjoyed the story of fishermen. They do tend to have some of the more interesting tales around these parts. That fog that you spoke of, would you say, what, shortly after the crash of the boat is when it appeared, correct?
Yeah. He says, come on up. Sun's going down. And as he comes up, says, you get this far out, you see it. Points onto the horizon, just as the sun's going down. Says, you see that spot of color? Like that color that you can't say what it is.
Yeah.
That's where the Geraldine went down. Fog don't show up at night, but at least not as thick as it does in the day. But every day it's there.
Even in bad weather, it doesn't blow away.
No.
It's unnatural.
It is unnatural. You encounter any creatures out on the water? Anything unnatural?
Not me. A bunch of boys have said that they've seen swimmers, fish with arms coming up. I used to think it was all mermaid tails and all that kind of, tall tails, big fishes. But there's truth to it. I tell you that.
Indeed.
Once in a while you come out and people say not to spend a night in the bay. Hopefully you don't have the nightmares tonight. Sleep well.
Nightmares?
People don't spend the night in the bay, and here we are.
All right. Anything else you want to ask?
No, that I think he's been. I don't know. What do you guys have anything?
I mean, he definitely has a distrust for the academy, but I do not wish to pry. He's simply our transport.
All of you can roll a d6 as you settle down for bed.
Oh, no.
Oh boy.
4.
Wrath?
1.
Hey, remember last time when we said we were due for some ones?
We were due. We are due.
Okay.
What?
As the nights pass, in the midst of the night, Wilhelm and Wrath, the two of you dream. And in your dream, you see a reef deep beneath the sea. It's like a city sprawling out endlessly. And all through it are tendrils of the blackest night. And you're swimming through the reef until in the midst of your dream, a massive maw comes out and devours you. You wake up in a scream in a pool of sweat, and you both take 10 psychic damage.
Oh.
You do not, you can each make a wisdom saving throw.
Me too.
Nope, Rudy, you don't need to.
I got a
I'm
6.
just snoring.
I get a 16.
So, Wilhelm, you take the psychic damage. Wrath, you do not. Wilhelm, you actually don't get the benefits of your rest this evening because of it. But Wrath, you do. You wake up in a screaming in the morning yourself. Wrath, you sleep right through it. But Wilhelm, you have awful nightmares that last the rest of the night. Nightmares of something hauling you into the depths. Visions of strange structures, as if you are watching from outside your own body this cyclopean monolith surrounded by a terrible, lurking, many-tentacled fish.
I wake up in a cold sweat, let out a scream, and come to terms with the fact that the last several weeks have caused me to have deep-seated issues with tentacled monsters.
Wilhelm, what's all this racket you're making?
I had one of those dreams the captain warned us about, Wrath, Rudy. There was
Sure, it's not the ale.
the captain had more than me. I only had a glass. I had 3. I had 3 glasses.
I know. And I prestidigitate the sweat away from your brow.
Listen, I was swimming in a reef. There was fish people and darkness, and then there was this mouth with tentacles all consuming. It reached out to devour me, and you were there, and you were there. And no, sorry, those were fish folk. It was terrifying, though.
You're having a little bit of anxiety about finding the fish folk.
Listen,
No,
I am.
Rudy, I had a similar dream.
Did you?
Wait, what?
I always have weird nightmares, and sometimes they are of things that Bruce is showing me, but this was too specific.
With
The way
with the maw and the tentacles and
Wilhelm
the
described it,
coral.
yes.
So you both had the same dream.
Huh. If that's
And
not
you saw the
concerning.
city.
The city in the water, the city of fish people, I
It
presume.
sprawled forever.
Yes, it was. It was unnatural. It was unnatural in every sense of the word. It was unnatural.
This could be the area telling us something.
Perhaps if we venture towards a spot near one of these elven ruins and near a large source of delirium, perhaps you and I may have just seen through the thin veil between places in our dreams.
That is very, very interesting. I never thought of it like that.
I mean,
I would
might,
have to reflect on it.
might be a warning.
River said something about the Dreamlands being one of the realms, one of the planes. So, I mean, I'm only drawing loose comparisons and connecting things as best I can as a non-magical person's. But dreams might be a gateway like anything else to these places, and it comforts me a little bit to know that somebody else had this horrible nightmare. I've had nightmares before, but this one was troubling.
Kind of does the opposite for me, actually. The fact that y'all both had the same dream gives a little bit more importance to the fact that something's going on here.
Well, we already knew something was going on. I mean,
but maybe something more than we thought was happening.
Worthy of our investigation, indeed.
Yes.
And although my mind is rattled and my heart is racing, the fact that I am not alone in this is a mild comfort in such dark places.
Don't get too comfortable now. It's time for you to get out onto the dingy.
The whole time.
Did not realize he was there.
Captain, I am tired and I'm
So
very
sneaky.
far from comfortable, I assure you. My weapon of warning knew he approached, don't worry.
Yes.
He didn't warn us.
All right.
All right, let's get out on the boat.
He points out to the thick mist ahead, and you see through the mist, deep in the distance, the rocky crags of the edge of Ash Bay, the pillars of stone of hexagonal shapes caused up by the volcanic rock that form the shoreline, and the distant, he points to it, this spire of rock perching on a high pillar of stone. That there, that's the lighthouse. You take the boat straight past it, keep it on to the port starboard. Just remember, the shore is that side, the water's that side. Steer on straight from here. You'll get to Aschaffen.
We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
taking us this far.
You've done a great service to us, and I hope we can meet again someday, Captain. Take care of your family.
Thank you.
And I tip him 2 gold.
All right.
Well, that's quite nice.
Good luck out there. If
Well-
you make it back, we can share a pint and you tell me what you think of the folk of Aschaffen.
Rule number 13, Captain. Luck is what you make of it. And I hop into the boat.
He throws you the paddles.
So, are we just watching Rudy do all the work?
I can do the rowing now.
I stand confidently at the front of the boat, looking out.
And I sit at the back being chauffeured and I pet Bruce.
Because if any one of y'all help me with the rowing, we'll probably just go in circles. So I might as well do both sides equally.
I am our lookout, don't worry.
As you paddle through the mist, keeping the strange and massive spire of this lighthouse, it must be miles away, but you can see it high above the fog. And as you paddle closer, you can see the shoreline where, nestled in between the cliffs, in a small bay-like pocket off the bay, is the town of Aschaffen. Just these huddled buildings with docks stretching out, almost like a decaying hand rotting on the water's edge, with the fingers being the docks looming out onto it. A copse of trees, and you can see up on leading up along the cliff, it looks like there's a shrine, perhaps of some kind, perhaps to one of the old gods, or maybe the sacred fire along the rocks leading up of the cliffs to the beach. Looking through the fog, though, you're just seeing the hints of this, because the fog itself it's harder to see much more than 120 feet ahead of you. You're seeing the cliffs that you're over the fog, and the suggestion of these buildings as you come forward. Within the fog itself are dancing motes of octarine light and strange and otherworldly colors not seen in nature. And as you feel, even just breathing them in, you feel this hoarseness in your throat. This is the haze. Wrath, you would know of this from your studies, but you won't be able to gain the benefits of a long rest while you're in here.
Is this all like within Aschaffen as well?
Yeah.
The whole town is covered in this haze?
Yes.
Oh.
Boys, I think we need to call River up and let her know.
Yes, it assaults your senses, and it penetrates the mind. There is no rest for those who stay in the haze.
Perhaps if we want to be smart about this, before we go trudging into that lighthouse, we should get the lay of the land in Aschaffen, see what the people there are like, and maybe follow the rumors of the weirdness of them. And perhaps also find maybe an abandoned barn or some sort of farmstead beyond the haze to set up a camp of some sort, somewhere that we could retreat to if need be. It might be appropriate to scout out such a location if the haze is going to be dangerous.
Well, one thing I did notice, and Monty, correct me if I'm wrong, the lighthouse, the top of it is above the haze?
It's still suffused in the mist, so it's not a guarantee whether or not it would be outside it.
Okay. And can we see how far out the haze goes from Aschaffen, or is it just, it's too foggy?
If you paddle around the boat, the epicenter of this mist is coming off the water, with Aschaffen just along the edge of it.
So if we even find, there's got to be some farms just outside of Aschaffen that we could retreat to if need be. We just need, I say we scout it out and get a lay of the land before we
If you head up on the shore a few clicks south of the city, you'd be outside of the town. You'd be outside the haze. But even around all here, even the vegetation has a strange look about it.
Maybe it's best we stick to our own provisions and not seek out any food or drink while we're here, just until we can discern what's happening. We don't want another Schaffberg.
I would say especially the water.
Yes, the water might be contaminated.
Shall we give River a call?
Sure.
Yes.
And take out the sending stone.
All right, you can send one message of 25 words.
Okay. Well, I didn't think this through before I did the thing.
Did that count? You're saying... Oh, I didn't think this thing...
No, when you hold the smart stone in your hand, you can visualize the words and they appear on the slate, and then you cover them up and they go with a little bit of a zoop sound.
Magic. It's amazing.
Okay. I'm trying to make this as succinct as possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I mean, honestly, I don't know why the Academy isn't mass producing these stones and selling them to families all across Westamar. The profits would be incredible. What they wouldn't even need delirium. They could start an entire market of smart stones.
I think the cost is too high for some of the simpler individuals. It is a premium device, and may not be as affordable as you might think.
Well, every kingdom has its nobles. The nobles would surely love a device such as this.
By keeping it in short demand, they can probably raise the prices of these
True,
magic items,
true.
creating
Supply and demand.
creating sort of a vacuum in the market.
Mm.
I don't know. I
got it. I got the
my
message.
economics magic professor was is flowing through me right now.
All right, guys, before we send this, tell me if you like it. We arrived, found haze all around. We'll scout the town first, find a safe space to rest, then head to the lighthouse.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. I press the thing and I send the message.
The response comes from River. Danger. Haze extremely dangerous. Won't wanted to try to watch you, but won't be able to once you go inside the haze. Be careful. This is because, as you know, as Wrath would know, and as we can discuss, and maybe we'll recap as we we're close out of time. The effect of the haze is that you cannot take a long rest within the area of the haze. But if you remain in the area of the haze, you will risk contamination, depending on the thickness of that haze. So there's areas where lingering there you could be there for hours without risking it. In some cases, there's areas where risking contamination is something that happens in only an hour or minutes or faster, depending on how intense it is. So we'll review what it does next week.
Wrath, can you tell where the dangerous parts are of this haze?
Yes, you can. Yes, Wrath can.
The concentrations are, in some cases, obvious. But trust your instincts. If it feels heavy and hard to breathe, we should avoid it. In fact, it may be worth staying away from this watery haze, and when we go into the town, to try to find out as much information as we can and spend as little time outside the haze as a little time inside the haze as we can, because once we go after this, where I think we all are thinking this shipwreck may be the source, along with this tower. If we are going to be spending a lot of time in there, it could be dangerous.
I leave it to your expertise to lead us on the right path of what might be too dangerous for us, because, well, this is our first time encountering something like this.
Yeah. Well, with that, that's where we'll end for the night.
New adventure!
Alrighty. Well, as one chapter closes, another opens. We'll wrap things up there for this evening, and a big thank you, as always, to our awesome crew, Kelly, Jill, and Joe, for playing.
And a huge thank you to Kyle, who is hanging out in chat and keeping things real and keeping everything awesome. And also a huge thank you to our Dungeon Master, Monty Martin, for running such a wonderful game full of rats and horror.
Thank you, Monty, and thank you to all of our talented artists who provide some incredible assets that we use in our game. They have graciously given us permission to use these in our game, in our stream games, and you can too. We encourage you to check them out and support these amazing creators. We have Roll20 with the virtual tabletop, battle maps by Alex Findar of Neutral Party and Ross McConnell of 2 Minute Tabletop, custom maps created using Dungeon Fog and Wonder Draft, player character artwork by Jeremy Cole, NPC token artwork by Matthias Bourbon, monster token artwork from the D&D 5e Monster Manual and other source books, spell effects tokens by Gabriel Picard, and, as always, music by Tabletop Audio. So thank you, Monty. Thank you, everyone. And thank you to all these amazing creators. Check them out.
Of course, don't forget to look at the links below for our Teespring store, where you can find all of your favorite Dungeon Dudes t-shirts, including Yes, 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 the Dusk Wardens, as well as Way Bigger Than Ducks. Check it out at bit.ly/Dungeon Dudes merch.
Fantastic. Our videos and live streams are made possible thanks to the incredible generosity and support of our Patreon community. If you enjoy the work that we create here on Twitch, YouTube, and elsewhere, please consider supporting us by checking us out at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes.
And we also have a phenomenal Discord community where all of our patrons gather to chat with each other about all things going on in the worlds of Drakkenheim, exciting news in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sure over the next week we're going to be discussing Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Oh,
Quite a
yes.
lot in there.
Yeah.
And you can also, if you're joining us on Discord, which is exclusive to our patrons, you can join in on our monthly writers' rooms, where you help Monty and I come up with scripts for our Thursday episodes, and you can submit questions for our monthly Q&As. So join us on Discord, chat with us there, hang out, and participate in all of the Dungeon Dudes shenanigans.
Yeah, I think this month we're gonna, for a writer's room, which we're gonna do the first Monday after Tasha's comes out. We're just going to do a big brainstorm with everyone in our Discord community about what's good, what's bad, what's worth it, what's not. Ooh. We're going to do a first impression review, but we're going to really have a meeting of the minds, figure out, what's the good stuff in the new book.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. Also, as well, with all that coverage coming up, we're going to be doing coverage over the next couple weeks on Tasha's Cauldron for everyone else on YouTube. So if you can't join us on Discord, you can't chat with us about that, that's all well and good. We're going to be making videos every Thursday for the next couple weeks where we're going to go through, figure out what's awesome in the new D&D books, talk about how we might build characters with that stuff, all that cool stuff. So next couple of Thursdays, starting next week after Tasha's comes out, be sure to join us on YouTube for those every Thursday.
And be sure to join us live on Tuesday when we record the campaign live on Twitch. Check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can watch all the video episodes of the show as well on YouTube. And it's also available as an audio-only podcast on Google Play, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So check us out in your favorite formats and get caught up with Drakkenheim.
Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time in the shadows of Drakkenheim.